Howdy, pilgrims. Howdy, pilgrims. Good to see you all. Howdy, pilgrims. How many baseball fans do we have in the house? Any baseball fans? Few. How many of you don't even know what baseball is? You're like, what? What's baseball? So we just got back yesterday from our, I almost said 60th, but it wasn't. It was our 30th. Boy, we'd be like crushing it, right? Just got back yesterday from our 30th anniversary. And one of the things we did is we went to a Texas Rangers game. I went to a baseball game. So it's so fun. It was really awesome. It was cool. And we won, right? We won. All righty. So good to see you all. Oh my gosh. What a bunch of cutie patooties. That cutie in South Patootie is like
It's
what it, I don't think it's Greek. I think it's Swahili or something like that. But it's something deep and meaningful. If you're a patootie, you're treasured. So a cutie patootie is like you're treasured. So that's what patootie is in Swahili and Greek and Hebrew. Aren't you glad we're not translating the Passion Translation? Okay. Today's a big milestone, very big milestone as we get started. And I'm going to put into the chat really kind of the agenda for the day. So let me get that for you. And there are some, in case you did not get them, here's today. In case you didn't get the email or went to spam or, went to, somebody else or you didn't get it or something happened. This is our agenda for the day. We're going to go through all of these things. And there is a PDF version and a doc version there. You can click that, you can download it, you can print it, you can fill it out. I'm not a big print guy, but maybe you are a print guy or a print gal. You can certainly print those off if you like. I personally think it will be really easy for some of you to use the editable doc versions because the PDFs aren't really editable unless you use another piece of software. But if you use the Google Docs that we give you, it's going to be really helpful in the process because you're going to be getting author folders today. Everybody go, yay. Clap your feet. You're going to be getting author folders. If you're not familiar with Google Docs or Google Drive, you will be. In fact, you'll be a pro by the time this writing experience is done, by the time you're done with the masterclass, because we'll be using Google Docs and Google folders for the entire process. It's where you'll upload your homework. It's where you'll get how-to training videos. It's where you'll do your outline, you'll put your chapters, you'll get your reviews. Once you actually, which are just a couple weeks away, actually begin, no, I'm sorry, we're like 3 weeks away. Sorry, got off of my timing a little bit. In a few weeks, as you complete your outline, you'll start uploading into your author folder. And when you upload to your author folder, you're going to get reviews. So you'll get feedback on your outline, and at least the first few chapters of your book, you're going to get, let's call it heavy, a little bit intense. With the first few chapters, you're going to get reviews back from David and Teresa. And so there will be these open lines of communication, et cetera, et cetera. All right, let's get started. Quite a bit to cover. How's everybody doing? I want to see everybody's face. Everybody doing good? I'm looking. Let me see. If you're lying, I can tell. I can see right through this Zoom thing. You guys doing good? Hey, we know that this is heavy, right? There's a real weight. There's a real weight to what you're doing. And so with the weight, as it begins to feel like you just can't bear it, oh, that's a good sign. Actually, a good sign when you feel like I cannot bear this weight. I cannot carry this weight. That is like you should be doing the hoopty-doopty dance. Don't know what, we'll let Janice tell us what that is later, but you should do the hoopty-doop. That's the hoopty-doopty. The hoopty-doopty dance is what you should be doing when it feels so weighty and so heavy that you feel like you can't go on. Why should you do the hoopty-doopty? You should do the hoopty-doopty when you feel that weight, because God's given you so much more than you can do on your own. He's entrusting you to carry something that outweighs you. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that it's easy or it's simple to do, to do blogs or to write some articles or, to write a paper in high school or college. I'm not saying necessarily it's easy. This is different because attached to it is a purpose, and attached to it is a calling, and attached to it is a mandate. God is giving something to you to carry on his behalf in the earth. So while we're never going to carry the Son of God like Mary, we're not going to get to do that, right? None of us. But the concept is similar, where God found Mary. There was something he wanted to do in the earth, and he chose Mary to carry that. So he's chosen you. You all have a different message, but he's chosen you to carry that. And there's real weight. There's real work to it. It's not supposed to be easy. This is actually supposed to, part of your mandate is like rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, where in one hand you have a tool, and one hand you have a weapon, and there's things through your message and your book and your process, God's tearing things down, and then he's building things up. So when you feel like, oh my gosh, this is too much to bear, remember, we gave you permission today to do the hoopty-doopty. Do the hoopty-doopty and let that be a reminder that weight is there because you're not supposed to bear it alone. You don't bear this alone. It's heavy and it's intense sometimes, but you're not bearing this alone. And remember, you're carrying this with the Lord in the earth. God picked you. Come on, somebody, do the hoopty-doopty in advance. All right. Let me, if you don't even have to take notes, because I wrote it all out here for you. Go ahead and download today's worksheet, either in the doc version or the PDF version. So the links are there. If you're having trouble with them, just go ahead and message Bianca or Elriza and they will help you out. If you get the doc version, that means you can edit it, editable. If you get the PDF version, it's not editable. You would have to print it and write on it, unless you're using some kind of software which makes PDFs editable. But anyway, this is not that class. Let me give you something else. Also inside there is a live help hotline. It's not really a hotline. I just want to say that it is because it sounds cool to say that there's a live help hotline. If you are a WhatsApp user or want to be a WhatsApp user, it's really easy. There's an app for that on your phone. And there's a phone, it's not a phone number, I'm sorry, it's a WhatsApp number so that you can text, you can get live help. So if you're looking for something or you're having a hard time or you have a question, send a message to 903-497-7996 on WhatsApp. Okay, it has to be on WhatsApp. If you call it, guess what? Nobody answers. It's designed for live chat. So it's really live chat. So if you call it, I think the rule is if you call it more than 3 times, then they're going to not send you something for your birthday. So just let you know. All right. So live help. I've got a question. I'm stuck. I can't find this. And most of the times where you're going to get stuck are a couple of things. Number one is you're maybe a little bit confused on dates and timelines and things like that. That's normal. It's all good. We got your back. And then there will also be times where you're struggling with your author folder. If you're new to using author folders and docs and things like that, you might struggle a little bit, but that's what that's there for. So use the live helpline. That is for Masterclass and VIP students only. All right. So today, where we are taking you is we are taking you through this worksheet of your writing plan. You will need a calculator. Now, if you're really smart, like somebody I married 30 years ago. And you don't need a calculator. Unlike me, who she married 30 years ago, I need calculator just like to add, 5 plus a few numbers. So anyway, you might need a calculator today because we're going to be doing some things. We're going to be minusing and subtracting and dividing and adding and all of that kind of fun stuff. But we got Teresa here just in case I get my math off. But we're going to, by the end of the day, you're going to finish this worksheet. Okay, you're going to finish the writing plan worksheet with us. And then we're also, by the end of the day, we're going to, I'm going to do a video here actually very, very shortly. You're going to watch over my shoulder. I'm going to do a video tutorial how to access your author folder. And then that very video that you're doing today, we're going to put in your folder called how to videos. So you can watch it again and again. Like, what did he say? What was that? He was talking too fast. That wasn't English, whatever. Okay. So by the end of the day, you're going to finish the worksheet, or at least we'll have gone through the worksheet. You'll do a video tutorial on how to access your author folder. And then we are going to give you some homework. Okay. Clap your feet. That's amazing. You are going to get your, well, I guess they've gotten a little bit of homework, not a ton of homework, but this is real homework. And your real homework actually will be to by tomorrow. Oh my goodness. You have homework due tomorrow. Let's see how many people stay on here. You will need to finish out your writing plan. It's not that difficult. It's really not that challenging. You just have a few decisions to make. Okay. All right. So we are ready. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Any thoughts, ideas, revelations, dreams? Okay. Personal words, prophecies. Okay. We're ready to rock and roll. Okay, kids, here we go. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to right now. Okay, here we go. We are going to, where am I? Couldn't even find it. Thanks, babes. You're the best. All right, give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen okay. Rock and roll. Need help. Some people weren't sure what a thumb is. Just kidding. All right. Okay. This is a master drive for all of the summer masterclass students. So you probably see your name and you see some other people's names there as well. So this is what we use. This is what we use for the publishing company. This is what we use for everything to store all of our data and information so that it can be shared with certain people and then, moved around, unshared, et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you essentially how to access your author folder. So you have your very own author folder. The only people that have access to your folder is the publisher, your editor, your admin team, and you. Now, you will not have ownership of your folder to share it with other people or do anything else until you've gone through the complete publishing process. Once you go through the complete publishing process, your book is launched, you're live and everything, you'll have full access to this. But during this process, and we have learned the hard way, we don't give you full ownership. We've had people delete stuff that didn't need to be deleted or shouldn't be deleted, or add things and this, that, and the other. So this is really, really important. So this is your tutorial for your student author folder. So we're going to just pick on Janelle today, just for kicks and giggles. All right. So Janelle and everybody else, this is what your author folder looks like right now. Now, there will be some things in here you are not going to use for quite some time. There'll just be a few of the folders that you'll use. Also, there'll be sometimes you'll go in there and there'll be a new folder. There will be new things inside there. Some things will disappear over time. New things will get added, especially when you get into the editing and the publishing process. There's going to be subfolders, etc. So right now you have your writing plan, your outline, how-to videos, endorsements, bio, support, orientation, and SOPs. If you don't know what SOP, it's standard operating procedures, homework, draft manuscript, Amazon. And as you can see, some of this is further phases. This doesn't even get into phase 6 or 7 or 8 later down the road. Schedules, marketing, final manuscript, and chapters. Right now, what you're going to be using the most of is going to be your writing plan, your outline, a little bit of homework, chapters. You know, you might use the schedule and a few other things, but really that's where you're going to be. Now, what's going to happen today, before the end of the day is over, you're going to get an email with this folder shared with you. Every single one of you inside this masterclass, you're going to get an email, and it's going to say that this folder was shared with you, and it's going to be shared with whatever email you signed up with. So if you have a different email you need to use, please send a private message to Elriza inside the chat so that she can take care of you. So this is going to get shared with you, and you'll need to just familiarize yourself with it. So this is, I'm going to just run through really, really quickly. Like if I'm getting my author folder shared with me for the first time. Okay. So, whoa, I've got an email that says that this folder has been shared with me. So here's the folder. The Messenger Life has shared a folder with me. That's what you're looking for. And then all you have to go to, you can see Janelle. You can click right here or right here, and it will take you to Janelle's folder. Boom, we were just there. So inside here, you see all of these folders. Again, sometimes over time, more folders will be added. Unless we give you instruction, don't even sweat it. Don't worry about it. Just really, if you just follow the steps and follow the process, you're going to be good. All right. So that's how you will access. Now today, as you go through, which we're going to be going through this writing plan, we're going to be going through your writing plan today. You will finish it by tomorrow, and then you're going to upload it, you're going to upload it right here into your writing plan. So once Janelle or any of you have finished, let me just do a quick download. You guys still see me okay? Let's say I've finished this. I'm going to go ahead and download it as a Word document. And then, okay, so I'm Janelle, I've finished it. I've answered all the questions. I've tallied everything up. I've got a plan. I know what I'm doing, where I'm going, how I'm going to get there. I'm going to go into my writing plan. You can see there's nothing in there right now. And I'm going to drag and drop. Now you can see it's uploading right there. Now my plan is inside there. Now, if I want to delete it or edit it or change it, I can. We recommend, at least, unless you're really a pro, if you don't really know Drive or Google Docs or anything like that, ask us for help, at least in the beginning. So if you make a mistake, let's say you accidentally, upload, your schedule to something else, or you upload something, you can just click right here, and you can click remove. You can also download it. You can make a copy, all of these things, but we'll walk you through a lot of this process, because this plan will now get reviewed by your mentoring team. So your mentoring team, once you're done with it, is going to go in there and see what you have filled out. Anything else you can think of? So,
No, I don't think so.
pretty straightforward. When we're all done today, you'll check give it an hour or two. You'll go into your email and you're going to see that a folder has been shared with you, just like this. Messenger Life shared a folder. You're going to click on that folder. That's going to take you to your master drive that has all the folders. Now, what's interesting inside, sometimes there'll be a subfolder. So for example, inside your writing plan, there's not a subfolder, but we will be creating subfolders. That means if I wanted to, let's do inside here, I'm going to have multiple folders. I'm going to have chapter 1. So now you can see there's subfolders inside your main folder. And don't worry, Janelle, I'm not going to send you a bill. This is free. You're getting ahead of time. We will teach you to actually do one chapter at a time, but we won't get too complicated. Okay, so that's how you access. Step number 1 is You're going to check your email. Step number 2 is you're going to open it. Step number 3 is you're going to go ahead and finish your writing plan. So you're going to finish that document, and then you're going to upload it inside. And then if at any point in the process you get stuck, you can send an email to hello@Messenger Live, or you can send a WhatsApp message to 903-497-7996. That should also be in your email. It's also in the chat. Okay, so in a nutshell, that was a little how-to tutorial.
And this how-to video will also be in your folder.
This how-to video, Skiddly Doop, will be inside the folder. We're going to take this video and we'll stick it inside of your folder. Okay. All right. Let me check for questions really quickly. See how we're doing. Everybody doing good? Anybody? Okay. All right. Very good. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and start going. Actually, I'd just like to get a show of hands. How many of you have some experience with Google Drive and Google Docs? You have some experience? Okay. How many of you are like 0, like negative Batman? Okay, no sweat. We got you.
It's easy.
Yeah, it's simple. Spring Masterclass was really the same, but this is way more simple than having to deal with like a big box publisher. It's actually, there's so many challenges. So we keep everything very centralized for you in this folder, and it's going to help keep things very organized. You're going to find out, if you haven't already, as you're writing your book, things feel like they get unorganized and all over the place and chaotic very quickly. This is going to help fix that, because you're going to have everything you need to compile your book at the very end. Is going to keep things very organized, because we also don't want to have things all over the place and you're trying to find stuff. And where was that? What was it in this email? Was it on this laptop? Was it on this phone? You know, everything inside this drive is going to keep things very organized for you, so that you can, you know, move through the editing process and the publishing process, you know, clean as a whistle. All right. Are we ready? Wonder Twins activate. Okay, here we go. We're going to get into, I'm going to go ahead and open this. Let me close all of these real quickly. And then share my screen again. How many of you, when I say go ahead and clap your feet, actually do it? I'm just curious. They don't realize that I like to joke a little bit, but they will. You think they do? Are they interceding? They're all praying in tongues. They're like, oh my gosh, Lord, deliver us. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you can see the writing plan. Go ahead and open yours, whether you're doing it in a Word doc, Google Doc, Pages, or a PDF. So probably whatever your default word processing your editor is, if you're using Google Docs or Word or Microsoft Word, or you're using Apple Pages, or you know, whatever you're using, it's going to open by default. Just follow along and we're going to go through this. Okay. Now the way that we'll do this is we'll do this in sections. So the first section is the timeline. The second section is your writing plan part 1. We're going to go through all of these. Second section is your writing plan part 2. Then we're going to get into your writing plan part 3. Then staying on track. And lastly, the publishing and marketing process. So we're going to cover all of these little modules here. All right, here we go. All right, starting with the timeline, there are a total of 8 phases that you're going to go through. And this is basically how we have broken it down into phases or stages that you are going through. Now, you've actually already completed phase 1. All right. So phase one right here was mentoring masterclass week. You spent an entire week with us and the mentoring team. And this is really prerequisite. We don't want you to move into phase two and phase three. Don't skip steps. Like don't go from like, don't skip phase one and then jump into phase four and then, just write it really quickly and then go do phase six. Really important that you follow the phases. And as your publisher, we'll realize and we'll recognize if you're skipping steps, we'll recognize because we have special powers. And so we'll know if you skipped any of those phases. So phase one is over. That means, hallelujah, praise Jesus. There's only 7 phases left. And actually, the first few phases go by pretty quickly. Phase number 2, this is where we are right now, is we're going to go through your writing plan, and we're doing it now, here today. Look at your watch. Here we go. Rock and roll on June 22nd. Now you will want to finish answering all the questions and upload it into your writing plan folder by June 23rd. So you have a day. You have a full 24 hours. If for some reason, some emergency, you need an extension or something, like we take gift cards, I suppose, or just say something really nice, to us or about us, and we'll probably give you a little bit of an extension. But you really do want to get pretty serious about this, because we're going to be putting in and investing a lot of time and energy into you. We're investing in you through this process. This is something, look, let me just be real and practical. We're just with you. As God has called you to carry and write this book, God's calling on us and the team to carry is to help you write that book. We're facilitating this process. So, if you feel like, the timelines are really rigid and stuff, it's there to keep you on track. It's not there to bind you up. It's actually there to give you more liberty and more freedom. So you'll do phase 2 today. And then by the end of tomorrow, you will upload your entire writing plan, because we want to review it. We want to go through it. We want to kind of have an idea where you're at. Then your workbook. Okay, let's take a little bit of time on this just for a minute. Let me see a show of hands if you have already just read, not memorized, not learned it all, not know everything, not done every task, but you've at least read the workbook. Just a quick show of hands if you've read the workbook. Okay, this is really, really important. You do not have to go through all the videos yet. You do not have to do all of the tasks, but at least by June 28th, finish phase 3, which is your workbook. Your workbook is, I kind of almost hate to even use the word. It's like your book writing Bible. These are your instructions for you to help you. It's a guide. It's a workbook to help you through the entire process. And there's going to be tons of things that might be like you don't understand. Like I read the Bible and there's things I don't understand, but there's going to be things like terminology, and there'll be different things like that, processes that you just don't quite get yet. And that's okay. We just want you to get a little bit of a grid and a little bit of an understanding. Now, somebody who wanted to do self-paced publishing could do just the workbook, and they could write a book and finish it. And plenty of people have, and go on to publish it. But phase 3 is your workbook. So this is what you want to do. Once you're finished uploading your writing plan by no later than June 23rd, some of you will do it today. Some of you do it tomorrow. Some of you, you might have to do it over the weekend. You'll want to get your workbook, which is in your dashboard. I'm going to cover all this. Go through the workbook and at least read it. You could, if you've not read any of it, like not even a scratch of it, haven't downloaded it or anything, depending on how long of or how long it takes you to read, whatever, you could probably do this in a couple of days. Some of you can do it in an entire sitting. Really just kind of depends on you. But by June 28th, You really want to have the workbook done. You don't want to have to go back later. Now, that's why we do the Unlocking Your Book workshop first, and then later we offer the masterclass. So if you have not done the workbook, download it. Now you're saying, well, where do I access it? So you go into your dashboard, you go to unlockingyourbook.com, click login, put in your email and your password, and right there on the membership dashboard, you will see download your workbook. Now, if you do not have access yet, don't do it inside the chat, because I really want you to follow this plan. Send an email or a WhatsApp chat to us to make sure. You should have access, but if for some reason your email or your password or whatever, you want to make sure you get it. Now, some of you signed up just for the masterclass and never became a member of the Unlocking Your Book workshop. So we want to make sure you get access, but that's how you'll get access. You'll put in your email and your password, and inside there, you'll have replays. There's tons of bonuses that are in there, and then the workbook as well. So if once you're done with this particular masterclass today, go on there and check and make sure that your login is working and that you can download the workbook if you haven't already. And if for any reason your login is not working or you're having problems access or find it, email us at hello@messengerlife.com or send us a WhatsApp message. We'll get you all fixed up pretty quick. Okay. So this is real important. Everybody, by June 28th, you want to finish reading your workbook. All right. Phase 4. This is where, it gets like, there's challenges, but it gets really exciting, because this is kind of like sitting down with the guy that's you're drawing up the blueprint for your book, right? This is the blueprint. This is really the map of the whole thing. What are the titles going to be? Where's everything going? What are you doing in this chapter? What are you doing in that chapter? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So your outline is going to be the process of phase 4 is between June 29th and July 7th. So June 29th is a Thursday, and that will take you through July 7th. So phase 4 of your outline, June 29th through July 7th. There's 4 parts in here. First is mapping out your outline. Now that's going to be an entire 90-minute session with Mrs. Yancey, AKA Mrs. Darcy. Okay. But Mrs. Darcy is going to spend 90 minutes with you, and she's going to go through that process of mapping out your outline. And it's going to be a game changer. Everybody go, like, if you're just like, I don't know where to put stuff, I don't know what to do here, I don't know how to, this is it. This is it, kids. This is like, I don't know where to put the spare bedroom. I don't know how many square foot I should have. I don't know if I should have 2.5 baths. This is it. This is really going to be the secret sauce for you. And then the table of contents, basic outline. So notice that this says on June 29th. That means you have a class. So from here on out, really until October 12th, you have a class every single Thursday. All right. Unless, otherwise noted. So on June 29th, you have which is next Thursday, you're mapping your outline. And then the next day, your basic outline is due. And again, you will upload that into your author folder. Teresa will be giving you very specific instructions where to send that. And then on July 6th, which is the following Thursday, we will have a live Q&A with you, and Teresa will be here, and the focus is going to be your outline. So if you need some help, you have some questions, maybe you're confused on some things, you just really need a little bit of guidance and a little bit of mentoring, that's what we're going to be doing on July 6th, again, which is a Thursday. And then your annotated outline will be due the following day by July 7th. Now, if any of you are hyperventilating or feeling any kind of anxiety at this point, you're going, oh my gosh, look at that, from June 28th all the way to July 7th. Like, when do I sleep? We do want these to be firm, but how do we say, this is an oxymoron, loosely firm. Okay. It's loosely firm. Makes no sense. I don't understand, because we want to, as your publisher, we want it to be firm. As your mentor and your coach, we want it to be firm, dates and things like that. But as your friends, and also understanding that life happens and things and that and the other, we hold it loosely. So if you're like, do I get kicked out if I miss those dates? No, you're not going to get, nobody's going to get kicked out as long as everybody's a Rangers fan. Nobody's going to get kicked out. Okay. I promise you, nobody's going to get kicked out. We've had people miss deadlines and some stuff just happens, but do your very best if you can to try to meet these deadlines. Anything you want to talk about on phase 4 real quick? Nice and loud.
Two things. As far as meeting your deadlines, it is good to remember that there's grace,
There's grace.
there are going to be times where something comes up and, it's going to have to be the next day for you or whatever, I promise you, we're not standing there with the whip,
And we're not thinking bad
at
towards
all.
anybody.
Never.
We're not going, oh, those dirty, rotten endings. No.
But here's the motivation to help you with keeping those deadlines instead of procrastinating or whatever.
Constantly pushing things back.
And I know writers, because I am one, we tend to be perfectionists. So you have to be careful because
Perfectionist.
perfectionism can translate into procrastination, right?
Hmm.
We put off doing something because we're afraid of not getting it right or not doing it perfectly. So here's a motivation for you to keep in mind with the dates for the deadlines and when homework is due and things like that, is that it's to your benefit. Because, for example, let's say you didn't get your annotated date outline, which is your expanded outline for your book, right? It's your full blueprint for your book. It takes all the guesswork out of your writing so you can just get into that creative flow. So let's say you miss that deadline by a week. Okay, then what that means is you will have a week less of writing mentoring.
And self-editing and everything else.
You'll have a week less of personal mentoring with your writing with us, because the mentoring with your coaches is going to end on June 12th. So if
Not
you,
June 12th.
I'm
12th.
sorry, October 12th. Thank
Yeah,
you.
June 12th. Yep, it's over.
October 12th. So that's going to end at that time. So the sooner you get started with the writing, the more help you're going to get all along your writing process. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're with you all the way.
And it
If-
fast tracks you for sure.
If you don't finish until mid-November, we're still going to publish your book,
Mhm.
but we won't be giving you those weekly reviews as mentors during that time. So the actual weekly mentoring and reviews with your chapters and all of that, which we'll get into later, that will end at a certain time. So you want to get all of it out of this that you can. That's my point. And
Think
then,
of it a little bit like a college course. A college course is offered for a certain amount of weeks. And so this is just for summer. Now, some of you will push publishing, you'll do publish in the fall. Some of you maybe even the winter and even next year. And that's okay. Just understand when things are going to be available and when things are going to happen. So.
And I just wanted to say this, and of course, we'll talk about it more when we cover this in the class, but for the outline, you'll have two, right? So you'll have a basic outline, which is just your chapters. Like it's the basic milestones that you're taking your reader through.
Which you'll share screen and show them.
And you'll create your basic outline, and then you will expand that basic outline. You'll annotate it. And I'm also going to show you how to do that, but we won't be doing that with you in class. That's why you'll have a week to get that done. So you'll basically have from the 29th of June until July 7th to fully annotate your outline. And wow, guys, this is the secret to success.
Yeah.
Okay. Really what makes or breaks a lot of times whether or not someone actually finishes their book is whether or not they get that annotated outline completed and then they just follow that plan.
Yep.
So think of it as the tracks for your train or the banks for the river, you know, whatever you want to look at it as. It really takes the angst, the frustration, the questioning, the wondering and the wandering out of your writing process, frees you up. You know exactly where you're going once you have that annotated outline, and you can just jump into that river of creativity and flow. So anyway, there'll be two outlines. That's what just in case that sounded confusing.
And for those of you that are already like, oh my gosh, I have 85 books, in my head, when you're writing your second book or your third book. So this outline is going to become one of those fundamentals. That's going to be a game changer for you. And eventually you'll be able to start making, this your own, and it's going to make your next process even much more simple. Okay, so that's phase 4, your outline broken down into those 4 quadrants. All right, then phase 5. This is the longest part of the entire process outside of publishing, because, there's like, a 90-day, window for the mentoring part, the writing and the mentoring, and then it's not quite that long for the publishing. It's quite a bit shorter because of the mentoring. But from July 13th to October 12th, which is 90 days, is your weekly writing. So we're going to meet with you every Thursday, same time, same Zoom link, same Zoom passcode, going through that process. And then your reviews are up to October 12th. Now, let me just, so that's, I don't want to get ahead of myself. You have quite a few weeks here, okay, to even submit your final draft. Now, even though there is a cutoff date to the weekly mentoring, that means we're no longer meeting on Thursdays. You're still doing things. You're still working. Now you're kind of have moved from working with your mentors and working with your coaches and doing the weekly things on Thursdays, now to really finishing everything up, getting the book edited, and moving into the publishing process. So even in the publishing process, although you're done with the weekly part, there's still work for you to do. You have to write a bio, you have to get endorsements, we need a picture for your bio cover and your website and different things like that. So there's things that you're going to be doing, but we will not start that process or really even get into any of that until you have submitted your final draft. Okay, so you'll get reviews up to October 12th, meaning your mentor, your coach, David or Teresa, are reviewing your chapters and then giving you feedback. This is like, I'm just saying, there are people that pay way much more than what you're paying for the entire thing just for the coaching. That's the industry standard. It's quite common to pay much more just for the coaching. Some of you will actually only go a few chapters for heavy reviews. So the reviews are going to be heavy on your outline because we really want to get that right. You want your blueprint to be correct. And then the first few chapters are going to be a little bit heavier, and then it will kind of spin off just a little bit as you get further and further into your book, because so much of the course correction and the mentoring and things like that. So some of you actually could finish before then, but there are reviews up to October 12th inside your mentoring folder. Okay. And then phase 6. Now we have had some people already from the Spring Masterclass. They've already submitted their final draft, but you have a total of 16 weeks to write. So basically from now until you submit, but we want you to submit as your publisher. We want you to submit your final draft on or before November 2nd. What that means, your final draft means that you've completely written all your chapters. You've compiled them all into one document, and then you've done your own self-editing and then a final review. That's your final draft. That means, what's the next thing after final draft? It's going to editing. That's the very next thing. And so on or before November 2nd, submit your final draft. That's exciting. Phase 7. This is it's not necessarily a long process, but it feels a little bit longer because now all of a sudden you're not doing quite as much. I mean, you were just like, you were writing and you're praying and you're seeking the Lord and you're soaking and you're getting things and putting things together. And now somebody else has your baby. Now somebody else is working with your baby. They're editing your baby and publishing your baby. So your book is going through copy edit. Your book is going through formatting. You're getting a book cover. The website's being built. It's going through, an Amazon account's getting created. ISBN and Library of Congress and copyright pages, and all of these things are getting created through this process. So we don't have a date on that because it really does depend really on when you submit your final draft, but feels a little bit like crickets sometimes. And this is just a time for you to be patient, but then you also have a list. When you get towards the end of phase 5, when we're getting really close, like that last month or so, we'll actually do another session similar to this, where we're going to go through the editing and publishing process with you, just a little bit more detailed. And you get homework, and some of that homework is you got to write a bio, you got to get a few things. We need some examples of book covers that you like, et cetera, if you're going to get a domain for your website. Okay. And then finally, and we go through this in detail at the end of phase 5, will be your launch. Now, this will be really important. Your launch, there are several things that have to happen, even when your book is done and your book is on Amazon. You don't launch until we actually do a launch campaign. And you also have to sign off on your proofs, your book proofs, and different things like that. But this is the big day, baby. Phase 8 is when you actually launch. And usually most launches, we like to see people do 21 to 30 days. But again, you choose, once you have looked at your book, you'll get one print proof and you sign off on it. There's no other changes. And we've gone through it and sign off on it. And there's no other changes and we're ready to go. You'll choose a 21 to 30-day launch. That means your social media marketing team is going to be creating videos on your behalf and graphics on your behalf, et cetera, to launch your book for you. Okay. All right. Now that is just the phases. How's everybody doing? Take a deep breath. We're doing good. Let's go to your writing plan. Now I'm going to, what you're going to do here is you're actually going to follow along. If you have the answer to these already, if you know, you can go ahead and fill these in. Now, if you are doing it in the Word document, just notice that it's editable, but it's automatically going to move some of that formatting. So don't feel like, oh, you pushed the red button and broke everything. Okay. So we're going to go through this. We're going to go semi-slow because there's some math involved. We're going slow because of me. Okay. I'm just saying. All right. So first of all, number 1, how many words will your book be? Now, remember, this is a maximum 45,000. Some of you like, well, it's 46, or it's 46,200. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Just move on. So how many words will your book be? Is it 20,000, 30,000, 45,000? Go ahead and write it in there. If you're not sure, if you don't know just yet, you just need to know by tomorrow. Okay. This is really important. If you were going to go, like David Sluka, who is the senior acquisition editor at Chosen, he decides what books get published. They tell the publisher exactly how many words.
They tell the author.
I'm sorry, the publisher tells the author exactly how many words. So this is really important. Most of your chapters, unless some of you are doing devotionals, most of your chapters are going to be, 3,000 to 5,000 words per chapter. So right now, go ahead and, if write how many words your book will be. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do this with you guys. All right. In a hypothetical situation. So I'm going to say my book's 43,000. I'm going to say 40,000. Okay. And then how many words approximately do I have right now? Well, right now I have 4,000 words. I have 4,000 words already written. I wrote a little bit of chapter 1, a little bit of chapter 2, but I've got about 4,000 words. Some of you have 14,000. Some of you have 400. Some of you have 0. However many words you have right now, go ahead and, if you know it, put it in there. If you don't, then tally it up later and put it into this document. How many minutes or hours per day do you plan? Keyword is plan. So right now, so you know your schedule, so, okay, you know what time that you get up, what time do you work, what time do you go to bed, what time do you play racquetball, what time do you read the word, all of these different things. So you really know your schedule. So you know your lifestyle. So how many minutes or hours right now? Well, I have 30 minutes a day. I have 2 hours a day. If you're like, Teresa, I mean, she could probably just sit there and just write for several hours a day if she had all of that time. And she does. And sometimes when she writes for several hours. But some of you, you're like, man, I have to write in small increments of 15 minutes or 30 minutes or something like that. So how many minutes do you plan on writing? Okay, I'm going to put 30 minutes. All right, but put this for yourself. Now, take the total number of words that will be in your book. All right, so total number of words might feel repetitive, but there's a reason. Okay, everybody doing okay? Again, if you don't have this right now, you can come back and watch this video and you can do this later. Just make sure that you finish it by tomorrow and get it to us because we want to keep you moving in the trajectory. So take the total number of words that will be in your book, 40,000. Now remember, some of this might change. Right now, you might be saying, okay, I'm doing a 40,000 word book. That's my plan. That's my goal. And then as you get into it, your mentor and your editor, they may say, hey, I think you should add a chapter here. And it ends up being 45,000. Or they may say, or you might be at 45,000. They may say, this particular story repeats itself in 3 different chapters, and we think that you could remove 2 of them, etc. So this is not like, this is a little bit of art, a little bit of science, and a whole lot of Jesus. So even though you're writing down some numbers here, this can fluctuate and change as you're going through the mentoring, you're going through the reviews, you're getting downloads, God's speaking to you, and you're going through the mentoring and editing process. So keep that in mind. So hypothetically, number 4, total number of words that are going to be in my book, which is called Trust God and Chill, and being funny, is 40,000. Now I'm going to subtract. You thought I was kidding with the math, but I was serious. So now you're going to subtract the number of words you already have, which are right here in number 2. Okay. Subtract the number of words you already have in line 2 that you already have in your manuscript. So from 40, do your math, and I'm going to put 36,000. Okay, so 36,000 words. Huh? What? And then total the number of words you have remaining to write. What are the total number of words? Oh, whoops, I did this. Incorrect. And this should be 36,000. 36,000. So number 5, subtract the number of words you already have. I have 4. And now the number of words you have remaining. So I now have to write 36,000 words. All right, everybody with me? Okay, moving along. All right, here's a couple of important things. 4 things. Number 1, so your estimated days of writing, they fall in that phase 5 between July 13th and October 12th, right here. You have this belongs to you, this document. So here is phase 5, right here. So your estimated days of writing are 90 days between July 13th and October 12th. You say, well, it's not July 13th. I've got this 3 weeks. I've got this 3.5 weeks. Yes, but right now you're doing your writing plan. Then you're going to be doing your outline, your basic outline, your annotated outline, and then getting review. So we actually want you, if you can, we really prefer you to wait to July 13th because you need to get your basic outline and your annotated outline submitted and then also reviewed and get back so that you don't really just lose time. So don't begin writing until your outline has been reviewed. you're going to submit that basic outline, annotated outline to put it into your folder. Your mentor is going to go in there and they're going to review it. And then they're going to let you know that you're ready to go. They'll make some thoughts and some suggestions and some ideas. Hey, I really like this. I think you can improve here. What do you think about this? Those types of things. Okay. And this is also an important note. We recommend not writing up to the last day of your manuscript submission date, which is November 2nd. Reason is if you're writing, right up to midnight, November, 2nd or November 1st, that doesn't give you enough time to self-edit. And when you submit your manuscript to your editor, which when you're doing your editor, you're actually taking your manuscript, you're giving it to your publisher. You're saying, all right, Mr. and Mrs. Publisher, here's my manuscript. I want you to publish my book. So it has to have gone through those processes, has to, have a lot of the checks and the balances and the self-editing. So don't stick to the plan and try to write everything between July 13th and October 12th, because between October and 12th and November 2nd gives you enough time to do the self-editing. Because when we get that manuscript, we're going to do a final review and then we're going to give the editor and boom. So now you guys are starting to feel it. You feel that weight that God's given you, but look, he didn't give it to anybody but you. You carry like Mary, is what I'm going to say. All right. The fourth important note is make sure that you give yourself time to self-edit and adjust accordingly to your schedule and your practical lifestyle. So, you play racquetball, you take your goldfish for a walk, what time you get up in the morning, what time you go to bed at night, your work schedule, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So be really practical with your lifestyle. All right. Moving on to number 7. All right, so we have all of these things. We've gone through 6 parts of part 1. Now, number 7, take the total number of days to write. Now, I cheated for you. I put it in there. How many days do you have to write? You have 90 days. So you have 90 days to write. Even if you have done some writing, even if you're writing right now, the best thing for you to do is to stick to the plan. Do the outline, the basic outline, do the annotated outline. I don't know how many times we have seen people go, man, I wish I would have stuck with the plan. You follow this plan, even if you've got a bunch of work done, you've got all kinds of ideas, you feel so far advanced, you feel like you're already, you're in a flow of writing 3,000 to 5,000. This is the way this program works so that you finish the book. When you signed up for this, one of the bullet points that we really presented is you're ready to publish in the next 6 to 8 months. And that's our goal for you. And you can do that. You really can. You can do that in this amount of time. All right. Now, the next question is, what date is that on the calendar? Well, it's October 12th. So we put it in here so many times, you can't miss it. But the date is October 12th. Now, on number 9, take the total number of words you have remaining to write, which is right here in line 6. Okay. So the total number of words you have remaining to write in line 6, whatever number that was. For me, it's 36,000. How many is it for you? And then divide that by how many total days you have remaining to write, line 7. Okay. So are you guys tracking with me? So if you require a calculator, that's okay. I think calculator, other than texting my kids and family, like funny GIFs and memes, calculator is my second favorite app. So get your calculator out. All right. So now you're going to go to line 6, take the total number of words. For me, it's 36,000. Bam. Take the total number of words you have remaining to write from line 6. What do you have in there? Put it in there. And now divide that by the total days you have remaining to write. That's not from today to November 2nd. That's not from today to October 12th. That is from July 13th to October 12th. So you're going to divide by 90. Divided by 90, mine's 400. Okay, let's do that again. So number 9, take the total number of words you have remaining to write from line 6. In my line 6, I have 36,000. And now divide that by how many total days you have remaining to write. That's, again, that's not to November 2nd. That's not from today to October 12th. That is from July 13th, because you still have what? You have an outline to do, okay? Because you're going to stick to the process. This is going to save you time, promise. So now take line 7, which is 90 days, divide that by 90, whatever your remaining to write, 400, and then put it in there. All right. Everybody good? Again, if you need to come back to this later today or tomorrow or something like that, you can do that. All right. Is anybody like, I hate math. That's awful. How many of you have an accounting degree? Anybody have an accounting degree, finance, stuff like that? Yeah, me either. Oh, I'm not going into that field. Okay. Riza, you do not. Stop it. Leave me alone. She's picking on me. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving along. She probably does. Hey, if you're in business, hire people that are smarter than you. If you're the smartest person in the room, fix that as quickly as possible. Okay. That was for free.
So if somebody's going to write a 45,000 word manuscript,
yes,
and they haven't written anything yet,
Mhm.
the maximum words in a week is 3,500, 500 words a day. That's so doable.
Which we are going to go over that right here. Okay, so
that, kind of
clarifies.
Yeah, and also wants you to realize that, we say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
No, you don't eat an elephant. I don't think you eat elephant. I don't think we eat elephant.
But you guys get the
Right, one bite at a time.
How do you write a book? One page at a time, one word at a time.
Mhm.
And so this makes it like really practical and manageable for you
Yes.
to recognize, okay, for me to reach my goal in 90 days, that means 3,000 to 3,500 words a week.
Yeah.
That's so doable.
The wisdom of God has put everything in life in phases, everything. Like when a child is born, phases. When we grow up, phases. When you build a house, phases. Everything in life, relationships, building, doing anything is in phases. And so focus on what's right in front of you, those things, and accomplish that step. Sometimes we get lost in the weeds, and it's kind of our fault because we're looking at step 490 when we need to be looking at step 3. So you go to step 3, you finish step 3, you move to step 4, you eat one, because I don't like to eat elephant. You eat one step at a time. Okay. All right. Moving around. Let's move to your writing plan part 2. Now we're going to pick it up a little bit, picking up the pace and see how everybody's doing. Hopefully we can leave a little bit of time for some Q&A and also for you to start getting your author folders. And so I'm going to go ahead and Riza, you can here as soon as I finish part 2, you can start sending everybody their author folders. All right. So, and I know some of this again is repetitive, but let's go ahead and put this in. So how many minimum words, we'll explain, per day must you write between July 13th and October 12th to meet your manuscript submission deadline? Notice that we put minimum. Now for me, because I took total numbers of words I had left, and then how much time I had with 90 days was 400. So this is your minimum words per day. You're taking the total number of words divided by total number of days to write. And so for me, it was 400, but you can, if you are like, okay, I can do 500 based on my time. If you can do 1,000, that's great. That's fantastic. Some of you, and Tree might want to speak into this, some of you might want to even do more like a weekly average. Some of you might, write really well Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you don't write on Friday and Saturday, and then you do some planning on Sunday. So you can, create an average for yourself, but we're hoping, we really would like to see you be doing at least a chapter, and for some of you, even 2 chapters, et cetera, on a weekly basis. So if you need to move this from like a daily minimum, word per day, to a weekly, you could do that as well. Just do the math. Anything to add there? Or
Well, in a little bit, we'll be looking at like what their writing
Time
schedule.
commitments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what you're going to personally decide. These are my writing days, and that will help you determine what's the best. I don't know what's the best game plan for tackling that word count for you. Brian, he says write every day.
Mhm.
That's his motto. And
That works for him.
and it's a very good plan to
Yeah.
write every day, something every day. But not everybody, is that going to be the best for them? And so,
Right.
if you just know with everything you have going on that you're really going to only be able to write on, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, then how you're going to get your 3,000 words in those 3 days. And so how long will that take you? And you guys get the idea. We don't need to spell it all out for you. We just really want to help you here at the beginning to really make your plan of how you
And
are.
follow it.
Yeah, of how you're going to run this book marathon.
Yep.
Right. Because consistency is key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's coming. It's coming. Okay, let's go through this. So a few more important notes. All right. So the amount of time it takes to write 500 words can vary depending on a variety of factors, such as the writer's typing speed, their level of familiarity with the topic, how complex it is, of the content that's being written. As a rough estimate, a skilled typist who is familiar with the topic and is able to write efficiently may be able to write 500 words in approximately 20 to 30 minutes. Now, we do all that we're doing right now because a lot of people that get the course or sign up for Masterclass have not yet factored time into some of this, because you only have so much in a day, you only have so much bandwidth, and we don't want things to suffer. So the idea here is to create some margin in your life, and where okay, I might have to put away a few things or do things or move things around a little bit in order for me to, in this context, write for 20 or 30 minutes. Some of you it's 30 to 45 minutes, some of you it's 45 minutes to an hour, some of you maybe more than that. So, but basically, you're able to write 500 words in approximately 20 to 30 minutes. However, a less experienced writer or someone who is struggling to articulate their thoughts may take longer, potentially up to an hour or more. So it's worth noting that writing involves not only the act of typing or physically putting words on paper, but also the time spent in researching and planning and revising. Don't get stuck, and we'll talk about this later, don't get stuck in editing everything while you're writing. Wait for that part. But the overall time that it takes to produce a 500-word piece of writing may be longer than just the time spent typing. Okay, let's go through these next steps in part 2. And if you don't know this yet, put it down later. This is important that you actually have some of these things, because you're deciding ahead of time. You're putting a plan into place so that you create the consistency and congruency for your life and your writing plan. Where will you write? You're going to write in your office. Are you going to write from the terrace? Are you going to do it under a tree, in your closet, at your kitchen table? Do you have multiple places? Sometimes I'm at the park. Sometimes I'm at the pool. Sometimes I'm, at the dinner table. Where will you write? And if you have one place, put that. If you have multiple places, put that. But where? What's the physical location? What time of day will you write? If you still haven't decided, then take some time before tomorrow and put what time of the day. Well, I'm going to do, part of it at this time and part of it during this time. I'm going to write on, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, and these are the different times that I'm going to write. Put this down. You're keeping yourself accountable, and so are we, because we're going to be looking at this. What distractions do you need to take care of and arrange? Do you have kids that need to be watched during this time? Do you need to, make sure that you eat before you start? Do you need to make sure you have things prepared? What kind of distractions? You need to turn off your phone. Do you need to be in a place where, the Texas Rangers game is not going while you're writing? What distractions do you need to take care of and arrange and put those things into place? All right. Oops, excuse me. How will you write and what devices will you use? Probably most of you have already done all this, but this is important. But things like a laptop, a desktop, AirPods, a headset, desk, chair, snacks. Do you need to have something to drink? Do you need some water? Do you need some coffee? Do you need 8 cups of coffee? What do you need? What are the tools and the arsenal for this writing project? List everything. If you're like, I need to have some music, I need to have, it really bright in here, really dark in here, I need a laptop, I need, a new chair, whatever it may be. So write all of your devices and tools and arsenal in there. What items or people do you still need to get organized to begin? So as you're listing some of these things out, so people, well, I need to talk to my husband and make sure he knows to, not, bother me at 3:30 because I'm going to be writing for half an hour. Or, that chair really is about to break. I've had it for, a really long time. It's time to replace that. So what items or people do you need to get organized? Do you need to communicate? So, man, you're ready to hit it. Okay. Maybe it's just like simple as like, I have a dog that just, won't leave me alone, at this particular time of the day. I need to get a bone, for this guy to chew on for an hour. Okay. Moving to part 3. What do you need to do before you write to ensure you're writing from a place of being full? So you want to make sure that you're writing from a place being full. What do you need to do? Do you need to make sure that you're having time in the morning? Do you need to make sure you're having time right before? Just basically ensuring that you're writing from a place of being full. What fills you up? I'm going to watch Joyce Meyer. I'm going to read the word. I'm going to spend half an hour on my face. So, I'm going to pray in the spirit for an hour. What do you need to do? All right. The second one in part 3, your atmosphere. What do you need to do during your writing to ensure your surroundings are ideal? So again, just making sure that everything around you are ideal for your writing. You'd be surprised how many things can be a distraction. I probably never mind. Okay. What do you plan on doing immediately after writing? Okay. So I'm writing for half an hour. I'm writing for 20 minutes. I'm writing for an hour. What are you going to do? Have a plan that's kind of a little bit of a celebration or something like that, but have a plan to know what you're going to do immediately after writing. This is just good for you to just think about that. Some of you, it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go for a walk. Okay, I'm going to go for a drive. I'm going to, make myself a sandwich, whatever it may be. All right. How will you celebrate short-term wins? When you finish a day of writing, you submit for reviews, when you are hitting the editing and the publishing milestones, like, oh my gosh, my book is now in the copy editing. Now I'm starting to get through the publishing milestones. How are you going to celebrate short-term wins? It's very helpful. Like instead of this just being, and yes, it is a marathon. It's a book marathon of 26.5 miles. I don't know why anybody would do that, hint. But those milestones, when you hit the 3K and hit the 5K and the 10K part of it, how are you going to celebrate the short-term wins? And who is in your writing support system? When and how will you communicate with them? Can I first say us? So Brian Simmons, Patricia King, David Sluka, myself and Teresa, our entire messenger team, we are your support system. But if you have other people, you have pastors or leaders, family members, your kids, brothers, sisters, spouses, intercessors, who are those people in your support system? And then when and how will you communicate with them? Use that support system. All right. All right. Moving to staying on track. And I'll go through these pretty quickly. Staying on track. Post updates 1 to 2 times per week. This is a suggestion. Some of you will do this and it will make a big difference for you because you're letting people know to be a part of the journey now, rather than waiting to when your book's published in the next 6 to 8 months. But post updates 1 to 2 times per week on your social media accounts, inside the Facebook community of where you're at in the process. Just go into the Facebook community, take a picture and show people where you're at. Let people know, let people celebrate with you, and use this as a way to share your journey and message. Submit your completed outline inside your author folder for review. Join us weekly on, why did that say? Oh, I'm sorry. So this is weekly on Fridays. Submit your completed chapters. So you're making sure that you're uploading your chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, so that they can get reviewed. Recognize triggers or frustration and deal with them immediately. This is kind of big as you're getting through into this process. You're finding yourself getting angry or frustrated or, upset or discouraged, all of those types of things. Like, don't let those things stay there. Like, don't let them build up. Deal with them immediately. Just like, oh man, I'm like frustrated, I'm angry, I'm feeling discouraged, and do what you need to do to deal with them immediately. First, of course, you go to the Lord, and then you go to your support system. And as Brian Simmons would say, sometimes you eat a taco. Take adequate, fun, and refreshing breaks when you need them. When you're just like, okay, I need to get in the car with the top down and the wind blowing my hair, do it. But use the system, take refreshing breaks when you need them. And get help when you need it, right? Don't just sit there in isolation. When you need help, send an email. When you need help, ask on Thursday Masterclass. When you need help, send a WhatsApp message. And you can also send audio messages and videos as well if you need to, but use this system. This system is set up for you. And attend weekly mentoring as much as possible. If for some reason you can't attend live, then don't put it off. Catch the replay immediately. I promise that you'll get behind pretty quick. All right. And in closing, let's just go through the publishing marketing process. This is post final manuscript submission. Just don't think too much about this right now. Cause again, what are we doing? We're eating the elephant one bite at a time, but just to give you a little bit of understanding. So the first part of your editing is submit the final draft to your editor. And when you do that, announce that on social media. Announce to the group, let your friends know that you have submitted this to your editor. Marketing, work with your marketing team, your publishing team. So the social media team is going to be, working on creating content for you, building your website, curating, making videos, putting together your Amazon account, etc. Book cover, your design team will submit 3 copies for you to review. You will select or do some revisions, and then you'll sign off. Editing part 2 is you'll review the work from your editor. You'll sign off on that. Basically, when you sign off, that means no further changes. Then the book goes into formatting, and the formatting team will prepare your book for both paperback print and Kindle. Again, you'll sign off. It's really important that you sign off on those stages, because after that, changes can't be made. Book proof, you will receive a printed book proof before you launch. So even though it might be on Amazon, we're not letting it go live or telling the world, because you need to look at it and see it and go through it before it goes live. It's really, really hard to change otherwise. And then lastly, your book launch. Your book launches, which are going to be between 21 and 30 days. Your marketing team will provide a full 90 days of social media management. All right. So Elriza is going to be sending you guys all, basically sharing your author folders. So before the end of the day, if you're summer masterclass, you're going to get an author folder. You're going to get an announcement to open your author folder. That way you can finish your writing plan document and get it in there. Okay. Now, we just gave you fire hydrant of information. Is everybody doing okay? Are you guys all right? How many of you are like, oh my gosh, I'm moving in with the Yanceys for the next 6 to 8 months? You're like, just, you can pitch a tent. Actually, it's quite warm here. Anyway, questions? Any questions? let's start with, if you have any question with the 8 phases, we can go. Well, we got about 10 minutes for you guys. Okay, questions? Yes, Bonnie, go ahead. Can you unmute, Bonnie?
Okay.
There.
Can you hear me now? Okay. In phase 5, weekly writing and mentoring class, is that an individual meeting or is that going to be a group setting?
Yeah, that's group meetings
Okay.
every Thursday. Yeah.
We get to meet with the editor one-to-one in this process or?
No.
Okay.
No, there's no one-on-one in throughout the process
Okay.
outside of when you're submitting outline or chapters into your author folders, your mentors will communicate individually with you one-on-one inside your folder, but there's no one-on-one. That would be
Okay.
possible.
So when we submit the manuscript and then when they edit it, they will send us an email back. So we kind of exchange information through emails then.
Yeah, and all through your folder, through the author folder, through that document, all of those comments, etc.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll just say, it will feel very personal
Oh,
because,
yes.
yeah, because, it will be David and myself. You'll be submitting weekly into your folder and we'll be communicating, even in real time sometimes right there inside of your Google Doc. So
Okay.
we're going to go through, we're not your editors. Just,
Hold on.
are we good?
Yeah, we're good. Can you hear us okay?
Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We're not, this isn't the editing process. This is just kind of a coaching process. So we're
Okay.
going to go through, we're going to make sure that your content and the structure of your chapters are actually taking your reader where you decided you were taking them in your outline. So this will kind of gel for you more over the next month. A month from now, you're going to be like, you know exactly what you're doing and you're off to the races, I promise.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you're not going to ever feel like you're just out there writing on your own and just seeing us once a week. You're always going to feel like we're just a fingertip typing away.
Yeah. Because one, you have every author has an assigned mentor. So we'll take all the summer masterclass students. Teresa will mentor half, David mentors the other half, and you're interacting with your mentor inside your folder. And then you're meeting with all of us on a weekly basis for a full 90 minutes.
Okay.
And then your support team, which are going to be made, is primarily Elriza. And then of course we've got Bianca and we've got Joy. So you can email them anytime you get stuck, you need some help with something. So you've got your support team and then also WhatsApp. So you've got your mentor, which is really daily. And then you've got your weekly sessions on Thursdays at 12:30 Central. And then you've got your support team.
Okay. Thank you.
You betcha.
Yes.
Good question, Bonnie. Rose. Go ahead, Rose. Rose, there you
There we
go.
go.
Can't hear you. Are you there? All right, we'll go. Keep playing with it, Rose. Oh, there you are. Can you unmute? Can't hear you. Rose, go down to the bottom of your Zoom where it says mute and click that arrow. And then where it says audio settings. And then change your speaker to the default. You'll get a few drop downs there. Looks like it's Alibaba. Come on.
Say something. There we go.
All right.
Yep.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Rose.
Um, thank you first of all for everything. There's
Yeah.
so much to process. I tried emailing.
Rose, do you have Facebook? Do you have Facebook streaming too?
No, but I do have my phone close by.
We're getting an echo there.
Oh, okay. So let me.
There we go. Fixed. Go ahead.
All right. So we have support, right? You told us we have support, and I
Yeah.
have emailed the hello email address, and I
Mhm.
haven't heard back from anybody. I think the first email I sent was June 2nd, and then
What was the email?
What was the email?
Mhm.
What was the content of it?
Uh-huh.
I don't remember. It's in my email place. But anyway, I had wanted to ask you certain things then. But anyway, I'm trying to catch up. And so after the mentoring session, I sent another one, and then I tried the phone number, and the phone number was not in service.
Yeah.
So that's where I don't know how to communicate. Like if I want a personal talking to somebody.
So first of all, we don't have a way for you to just call and just talk to somebody on the phone. Like that's not part of our support system, never has been, and don't really know that it would be outside of maybe for a VIP session or something like that.
Okay,
But
so there was a
the
phone
nine,
number there.
yeah, but that phone number. So Rose, the number, if you're going to call the 903-497-7996, that is just for chat. We don't actually have any inbound phone number. We don't have an inbound call or anything like that. But you can do the 903-497-7996 to do live help, like, chat with somebody or send a text, and that on
Yeah.
WhatsApp.
What's that?
And then
Okay, I'm not familiar with that yet.
That's okay. And then the email that you should be using right now is hello@messengerlife.com. So do you have a particular question right now that you want to ask?
Well, first I was waiting on those responses. So I wanted to know what was going on with that. So now that's been answered, and I'll move forward with that. Now, in this planning, we're submitting chapters to you, right? How about the introduction and the forward? Do we do that too?
Yeah, you'll do that for editing, but that will be more towards the end. Like you're not going to do your introduction until the end, but yes, you would be submitting that as well. That's all part of your book. Lost your audio, Rose.
That's a good question, though. I will just say about everything that is going to go in your book will go through editing. So every endorsement, if you have a foreword, anything like your author bio, everything we will edit for you. So that will all be taken care of. As far as your submitting your chapters for chapter review, that includes your introduction if you have one, and your conclusion if you have one. And also some of you may have like a prologue or a note to reader or something like that. It would include all of those things.
Rose, is your audio working now? I still do not hear you. So Rose, is your email drcow, wow, Cowperthwaite@yahoo.com? Okay, I'm going to go on to Margie. So Rose, what I'm going to have you do is, Elriza, would you just send Rose a private message right here on chat and help her out with what she needs. I think I'm looking at, you were sending some information about already published workbook that needs to be revised in 2 workbooks and things of that nature, which is different than the summer masterclass. But at this point, Rose, so the emails are hello@messengerlife.com for your support. You'll have your author folders. And then if you need live help, we don't do any inbound phone calls. It's not our business model. In fact, book publishers don't have that anyway, but would be the 903-497-7996. Elriza, if you just reach out to Rose, make sure that we have her email. And then I'm looking at something that you sent on the 16th about planning and mapping things out to republish these workbooks, so which will be quite a bit different than this current model. So we'll have to, if that's what you're going to publish, we might need to have a conversation on that. All right, we're going to go to Margie. Go ahead, Margie.
Hi. Do we have sound today?
We have sound.
Okay. So there was some confusion for me. Well, not for me, but I was accidentally in the wrong, just going back,
Wrong class.
spring class, summer class. So what day, because I have already been in communication with David Sluka, which, hey,
Mhm.
wonderful.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
what day was that actually what's the date that mentoring is supposed to actually begin?
For summer or for spring?
Summer.
Well, we're in it right now. We're in it right now.
Are you asking about when you were supposed
Personal
to
mentoring.
submit?
There is no personal mentoring. There's no one-on-one personal mentoring in this. This is Thursday weekly calls and then through your author folders. There's no one-on-one mentoring.
What David has been doing, working with me.
Yes, but that's through your author folder.
Okay, so we started early because he thought I was in the spring session. So
Yeah.
what was the date that was
Congrats.
actually supposed to begin?
Well, for summer masterclass would have been last week, June 12th.
Oh, okay.
But then, yeah,
Okay,
right, which you participated in the mentoring masterclass.
correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
so at this point, you can just stick with the, how much content have you already given David?
He got me started on the outline. So my
Okay.
outline is finished. I have, I think it was 4,800 words.
Mhm.
And that I think is what I have. So I think we have a good start, I hope.
So has he already approved your outline?
I don't know that I believe so, just the outline itself, yes.
Okay. So basically you're in phase 4. Have you done the basic outline and the annotated outline?
No,
Okay. So what you need to do, but you've completed the workbook?
no, I just downloaded my workbook
Okay.
just the other day.
Okay. So then in that context, so that will put you in phase 3. So you want to finish the workbook by June 28th. And
Okay.
then you want to go ahead and do phase 4 of the basic outline and the annotated outline. So
Okay.
even though David has jumped in there and started mentoring on some of your content, et cetera, you want to stay on track, stay on the process, finish the workbook, do the basic outline. The basic outline has to be done. The annotated outline has to be done. And then really you're a little bit ahead of schedule.
Okay, I'm sure it's very necessary for me. Okay.
Well,
I just needed to know if I needed to let him off the hook until we were on the right schedule for the summer.
no,
That
well,
is all.
you're really actually, you're just a little bit ahead of the schedule but
Okay.
you want to start doing the workbook. So if you haven't started the workbook, I mean, you got a week at this point, and then next week you'll start doing the outline with Teresa, and then just pick up right where you were left off, and that will help David as he's doing his mentoring with you.
Okay. Awesome.
But David would continue to be your mentor throughout the process.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Thank you. That's
You
all I
bet.
need to know. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But
Suzanne. Oh, can you unmute?
Hello.
We hear you.
All right. I have a technical question. I downloaded the document to fill it out, but it won't let me write on it. Am I doing something wrong?
Did you download the PDF or did you
No, I did the
download?
document.
Huh, okay. So let's, why don't you downloaded it from the chat or did you download it from the email?
From the email.
Okay. So let's do this. Elriza, could you just send Suzanne the document itself? So instead of clicking the link, Suzanne, what she's going to do is she's going to just send you the document as an
Okay.
attachment. So
Okay.
Elriza, if you could pull up Suzanne Roberts' email and put the your writing plan as a Google Doc in an attachment, and she'll send it to you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And Elriza, feel free to send Suzanne a private message and get her email address. And Suzanne, if you have any other issues, just let us know. What device do you use, Suzanne? Are you a PC user or a Mac user?
I have my iPad.
That's probably what it is. It's probably because it's an iPad. Do you have a desktop or a laptop?
Not really.
Okay, okay. So do you print from your laptop? Do you have it? Okay,
I
you
do.
do. So then what I would do, Suzanne, is I would actually do the PDF version and print it instead.
Okay.
Because sometimes, and not knowing, what operating system you have on there or what version of iPad, but maybe try that. First, let her send it to you as an attachment. It
Okay.
probably won't work, but if you're going to be using an iPad, but then you could get the PDF version and print it. But Elriza will make sure she works with you so that you can do that. But you're probably gonna have to print it.
How do I upload it if it's a PDF?
Does your printer have a scanner?
I don't know.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. It probably does. It probably does.
Okay.
There's probably a scan function where you can, once you print it off, you can scan it into your printer and then
Okay.
email it to us.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll keep working with you and get it figured out. That happens
Okay.
sometimes with the technical stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Diane,
Hey guys, how are you?
we are fantastic. How
That's
art
great.
thou?
I'm doing great, thanks. Yeah, this looks great. Pretty easy to follow and looking forward to it. Yeah, so
Good.
thank you for going over it in detail. So I just
You
got a couple of
betcha.
quick questions because I'm a little confused from what I heard in the original video. So 100% copyright does go to us, correct? We retain that, but that's included in the cost of what I'm paying you, correct? Or is that an additional fee?
No, you as the author, you own 100% copyright of your book, 100%.
Okay, but the fee for that when it's submitted to is included in the cost of this program, let's say, or do we have to pay for the copyright fee in
No.
addition to? Oh,
No.
okay.
No.
Okay.
When you filled out the application, and then the original presentation where it went through all the different bullet points and line items of all the different things that you get for that particular price, that's everything. That's all inclusive. So the way that it works is the copyright, the only thing that's on your copyright page is that Messenger Books is your publisher, but the copyright is in your name. So there will be a copyright page
Yeah.
and you own that. That's yours. So
Okay.
everything there. And then the second element, which would be the royalties, it's 100% net royalties. So in the Masterclass process, we don't collect any royalties. A traditional publisher like Chosen or Destiny, they're a different business model. They'll retain 80-90% of the royalties, and then they give you whatever's left over. You get 100% net royalties. Now your book is set up on Amazon. So we create an Amazon account, and you'll have two formats. You'll have a print format and an ebook Kindle format on Amazon. So when people go to your website, they go to your sales page for your book, they click the order now, it takes them to Amazon, gives them the option to buy the Kindle. That's going to be for $9.99. That's pure royalty for you, 100% net royalty outside of what anything that Amazon retains. And then the paperback is the same thing. It's 100%, but you end up paying, depending on your book size, if most of you are going to be in that $40,000 to $45,000, they just retain about $3, $3.50. That's what it costs you to Amazon for it to be printed and distributed and warehoused. But outside of that, there's nothing.
Okay, so
And
when
Amazon just,
I'm sorry, go ahead, finish. I just stepped on your words.
that's okay. And Amazon will send you a royalty check typically every 60 days.
Every 60 days. Okay. So as far as the actual book, the physical book, like we're publishing it, but we printing the book through you, and who's covering those costs? And during the 3 months going forward, do we continue that with you? And after that point, what do we do? Like I've never done this, so I don't know how the printing, the physical book gets established and put on these sites. Am I making sense? Does that question make sense? Okay.
So you're going to submit your final manuscript.
Okay.
Then it's going to go through editing. Once it's done going through editing, it gets formatted for print and for electronic.
Okay.
And then you're going to approve your book cover, sign off on your book cover, sign off on your formatting. And then we create your Amazon account for you and we publish your book. Messenger Books is your publisher. This is not self-publishing. Self-publishing is completely different. Self-publishing means you do it yourself. So Messenger Books is your publisher. We publish the book for you. We'll be on the copyright page as the publisher. You own the copyright. The book is now on Amazon. So you send people, it will be on Amazon. It will, because I'm taking her through the process. So people can buy one book, two books, they can buy any books, and then you can buy author copies. Author copies, you get them at cost. So for most of you, if your book is going to be around $3 cost, that means you're only paying $3, maybe $4 for one copy. Most of you are going to be selling your book between 15 and 20 bucks a pop. So you can order your own author copies. Amazon will send those to you. And once you're completely finished with the process of publishing, meaning you've gone through the marketing, you've launched it, your book is on Amazon, your website is up, then we turn over the Amazon account and then it's yours so that you can manage it. And it's up for as long as you want it to be. It's yours.
Okay, so how do you, so maybe I'm a little thick, but how do you make your money when and you're my publisher? So after that 3 months, you're no longer my publisher. Is that what you're saying?
That's
And how are you guys going to make money when the book's being produced? Because I'm paying you for all these services.
It's a book publishing package. This is very, very common. So if you remember in the webinar, there's a few different ways to publish. You can self-publish, do it yourself. You can go through a traditional publisher, and that traditional publisher owns the copyright. They own the book and they also dictate the royalties. Or you can use a hybrid publisher, which is what we do. A hybrid publisher provides a service for a package. You're paying for that package. If you don't pay that package, we don't do the work. But when you've gone
Okay.
through the entire, and it's a
Fair.
lot of work.
Yes.
But when the process is done, your book is live on Amazon and on your website. I mean, the book is still, I mean, we're still your publisher, and we have a few options for people that want to stay with us. If they want to, they certainly can.
Okay.
But you own the copyright. So there's
Okay.
only 3 ways to publish a book. Publish it yourself.
Yep.
That means you do everything on your own. Traditional publisher, that means the traditional publisher owns it, or a
Okay.
hybrid publisher.
Okay.
And
All
a
right.
hybrid publisher charges a fee, or in some cases might charge a subscription or something of that nature. But once your book published, you know, that package is done. I mean, if you want to ride off into the sunset and never call us again and never be a part of what there, that's okay. Your website is up. The book is on Amazon. You can do, you know, whatever you want. But as long as we're going through the process, we're basically controlling the process and how it's going and the timeline and all of that.
Okay, fair enough. Now, as far as the social media aspect of it, you're managing it for 3 months. I'm very weak with the understanding of social media. I really am limited. Is there some
Sure.
instruction during that time frame from the people who are managing it so we can pick it up at the end of 3 months, or no?
So as a Masterclass member, you get access to Messenger University, and you get access to Messenger University for life. Inside of Messenger University, there is a marketing course called Marketing for Authors, websites for authors, and then we have ongoing stuff. There's actually quite a bit in there. Are we
Okay.
going to teach you how to be a social media guru? No.
Okay.
But for 90 days, you're going to get about $4,000 worth of marketing
Yeah.
of what it would normally cost
Okay.
you. But we're not going to put, it's a done for you service. We're not putting time into coaching you and
I
telling you,
understand.
you know, how to use Facebook and Instagram and algorithms. It's basically a done for you system, because we take your manuscript and we curate the content. We extract content from it. And then the book cover, we basically use that as our guide for the designs. And then, you know, we post your content on your behalf, Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. All right, thank you. Oh,
Yeah.
just one other quick question. I'm actually surprised you don't do signed agreements between you and us. Do you do that? I mean, for what we need to
VIP.
pay you. Okay, go ahead.
It is a signed agreement when you filled out the application.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an electronic agreement. So that application, you agreed to the terms and the condition. The only
Okay.
time we do, because this is not a publishing deal.
Okay,
It's a publishing package. So the language is very different. If somebody publishes through our VIP publishing model, they do get deal points, and there is an agreement and a contract, because it's a
fine. Okay,
very different process. But you're purchasing a package, and when you did your application, you agreed to those terms and conditions.
okay, well, that makes absolute sense. I would like to send someone to you that has an extraordinary story. She's much older than myself. She would need a lot of help. Is that something that you've managed? Should I send her to you? And it would be, you would publish her. She would not go through the program I'm going through.
Yeah, so she would need to become a VIP member. So yeah,
Okay.
so she could send an email to hello@messengerlife.com. They'll
Okay.
send her the details. Our VIP publishing process is polar opposite from the Masterclass process.
Okay, all right. Thank you for being patient and answering my questions. I appreciate it.
Sure, I understand. I
Okay,
understand. I
thank
get
you
it.
so much.
All right, we'll take one more. We're going a little bit over, but we like our German friend, Marie Louise here. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm not used to Amazon. So I buy books with Amazon, but now a stupid question. Where are the printed books when they are printed out? Are they in US or at Amazon, or where are they?
Yeah,
Because I write for Kenyans, so the books needs to be in Kenya. because
Mhm.
they don't use Amazon.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's a really good question. So when you go through most hybrid publishers, and maybe some of you have this experience, maybe you've gone through this before.
I know.
Most hybrid publishers, what they do is they'll sell you a publishing package, and then you're required to buy 500 books or 1,000 books or something like that. And you typically have to buy them in bulk, and then you have those books, and then you do a lot of your own self-distribution. And the reason that they do that is because when you buy in bulk, it drives the cost of that one book. So the more you buy, the less it costs. This is a completely different model. This is like going to a drive-through restaurant or a drive-through burger joint. You drive through and you get on there and you say, I want a burger with large fry and an unsweet iced tea, and they make it right there, and you drive up to the window. So when they do this, that's why it's so inexpensive to use Amazon's what's called KDP publishing. This is industry standard stuff. You basically, when that book gets ordered, they just make one. So they don't make 10, they don't make 20. There's not a warehouse of your book. Your books are not just sitting, it's all digital. And because we upload the manuscript, we put in the book cover, we put in everything that Amazon requires, they have to approve it. It's actually quite a few steps. It's quite a process. Has to fit, has to be approved, yada, yada. So when somebody goes to your website, goes to Amazon and says, okay, I'm going to buy 3 of Marie's books, we also set it up to what's called international market. International market means anywhere in the world that people can buy books from Amazon, they can do it. So if it's New Zealand, it's the UK, it's Australia, it's India, it's China, it can be Hawaii, it can be, Oregon, doesn't matter where it's at, anywhere in the world. That order will automatically go in basically just into an electronic streamline, and then it tells Amazon where to print that book. So if those people are in Africa, it's going to go to the very closest Amazon warehouse. If it's in New Zealand, if it's in Denmark, if it's in wherever it's at. And so it's international. So it just gets that one book gets printed at that international Amazon. It's not one store, it's all the different stores, wherever is the closest and whichever one is the shipping distribution center for that. So your books aren't really sitting anywhere. Your book is basically in a file. And when somebody orders it, it says, this is where they're buying the book. This is where it needs to be printed. And this is where it needs to be mailed.
So the book will not come into a bookstore. That means I should go to Kenya. Then I tell Amazon in Kenya, please bring me 10 books, and then I bring to Kenyan. So what?
Exactly. So in that context,
okay.
Really good question. So Marie, let's say you want, hypothetically, you want to take 100 books or 200 books, however you want. And with Amazon, you get charged because they charge you to print it, cut it, distribute it, all that. It's the same amount, whether it's 1 book or 1,000 books, doesn't matter. But let's say you want to take 100 books and put them somewhere in Kenya. So you go in and you order author copies, or we actually will order the author copies for you and send 100 copies. You give the address, Amazon will send 100 books to you, wherever address that you want them to. And then you can put them in a bookstore, put them in a church, put them in your garage, or give them to people for Christmas or whatever.
But Amazon will not send to a printer that another publisher could print it.
No,
That they don't
no.
do. Okay.
No, but, if, as the owner of the copyright, and we're kind of getting into the weeds a little bit, but you technically can take your files to any printer to get them printed, but it's going to be expensive. If you go to another printer to do it, it's expensive. But Amazon will ship as many books as you want, anywhere you want.
And how is it coming to the price of the book? Who says how much the book is for?
You do. You determine that.
Okay.
Yeah, we recommend for a 45,000 word book, most of you guys are going to be in that 15 to, $20. So $14.99 to $19.99. Most of the books we've published have been in that $17, $18 range. Well,
Okay.
you get to decide that. You could charge as much as you want, but it's a good idea to kind of stay with the trends.
And then I have a last question about the mentoring. So it is Deva and Teresa, David and you. How do we know who is for everyone? Or it is just a surprise or what?
Yeah, so we just do that internally. Once we start going through your outlines,
Uh-huh.
we'll break people up into groups.
Uh-huh. Thank you very much. That was
You
a
bet.
good help.
Yeah.
I will
See,
do.
there's a lot of steps in publishing. There's a lot of things. I'll answer David your question real quick, and we'll call it a day. Is this in any language, David?
Oh, sorry.
Is this in any language? It would have to be basically printed in that language. It would have to be edited. So for example, if you write your book in English, then you would want to edit it and go ahead and publish it in English. And then you would have to have somebody who knew Portuguese, a Portuguese editor that would have to basically, transcribe that for you. Yeah, but you can do that in any.
We don't do that. But
Yeah, we don't do that. Yeah, we do English
Mhm.
and English,
Mhm.
and then we do English, and maybe if in tongues we might do interpretation or something like that. Okay. All right, I'll take one more question, although we're like way past time, like 30 minutes past. Go ahead, Bonnie.
Thank you for the final question. I am doing a lot of marriage Bible study materials. Is there a possibility that maybe Dr. Brian Simmons can check the theologies? Is he involved in editing process or?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
He could?
Yeah, just on that, if you could just make a little notation or a request, because during this process, the phases of writing and mentoring, and then the phases of editing and publishing, and then even into the marketing, you're going to get pretty intimate, specifically with your writing coaches, your editors, and the support team. So in that process, just communicate to us and just, say, hey, I would really like to have Brian take a look at this. And so,
Okay.
it's just to be honest with everybody, Brian and Patricia,
They're
man, they're
busy.
busy folk. They're busy. But if the expectation is like, oh, I need to know something in the next few weeks, get it in as soon as possible. They're really good about it, but just, like he's traveling today, he's shooting video for the next week. So if you kind of have an idea what you want, be really, really specific. With those types of requests, if you want, something to be looked at specifically by Brian for theological, go ahead and, let us know and let us take a look at it, et cetera, and then be able to determine if they even can, et cetera.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say we've had that question before,
Mhm.
and what we recommend is when you're in chapter 5 of your book and you have a theological question, since we'll be communicating with you, your mentors will be communicating with you inside your document, you can just make a comment inside, highlight that particular paragraph or
Yeah.
point or whatever, and say, would it be possible for Pastor Brian to take a look at this?
Yeah.
And make sure, and, be very specific about your question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
It's just as detailed as possible. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. All right, guys. So you have homework now. Yay. Everybody clap your feet. All right. So clap your feet. If you have any trouble at all and you can't, you're having trouble with the folder or whatever, please send an email to hello@messengerlife. Or if you're like, okay, just so you know, like WhatsApp is not the mark of the beast or anything like that, but you use WhatsApp, go ahead and send a text send a chat and so that we can communicate with you. Okay. All right. And Rose, I hope you have been able to get in touch. Elriza have reached out, and let's get the communication lines going. Okay. All right. Blessings, guys. Let's see that homework tomorrow. We're excited for you. All right. God bless. Take care.
Praying
Bye
for
for
you.
now. Yes, we are praying for you. Bye, guys.